Hello, Louisville. I'm JP.
And I'm AC.
This is Cardinal Paradise.
Let's get rolling.
Let's roll. Well, last Saturday, AC was for lack of a better term, a sleeper. Duke rolled into town. Everybody had high expectations. The offense didn't produce much. The defense played well, but it was a low-scoring game. What do you think?
I think they just ran into a good Dave Cutcliffe
Coach team.
Yeah.
And I agree.
You know, he brought it. He's an awesome coach. Mm-hmm. You know, he knows his X's and O's, and you know, he's an awful nice guy too. You know,
everybody seems to like him. We don't know him personally, but everybody seems to have high praise for him. So there's no reason we shouldn't like him too.
Oh yeah.
He had a good game plan. All they did really run the ball, which kept the clock running. Tick, 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 tick. I don't think he thought that they were going to win the game, but I thought that he knew that if he could shorten the game by keeping the clock running the whole time, it kept our offense off the field, and and it worked great, and it was closer than what anybody thought it was going to be.
I mean, they ran it, they put us to sleep, and then they threw over us and touchdown. I mean, they came that close to a penalty short of winning that game.
Yeah, and I don't understand why he was not arguing with that call, because clearly he took one step and they just wiped him out. What do you mean I don't know why he was upset about that call or that rule needed to be changed, because the kicker has to have time to come down and take a step or two. I mean, he's got to get his bounce after he runs in and steps in and kicks the ball. Yeah. Anyway, so it was a good call, and we were grateful to have it, because then we scored a couple plays later.
It was a good call because it was for us.
Went our way. Yeah, went our way. Yeah. So, we got the W. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
No style points there. Lamar Jackson had another good game.
Yeah. He was responsible for, 2 touchdowns?
2 and 325 yards of offense, 322 yards of offense. So, I mean, it was still a good game.
Oh, yeah. We're kind of getting spoiled with the 45, 50, 60 games. So it was kind of a disappointment for the fans, but it shouldn't have been. We shouldn't be spoiled like that. But, Bobby's putting a great product on the field, and we're drinking the juice. We're drinking that offensive juice that we're supposed to, first 1 to 59. So.
And we had a week off, and we talked about that last week's show. We weren't really sure how that impacted teams. Mm-hmm. And I don't think it negatively impacted Louisville. I just think that David Cutcliffe had a good game plan. They executed it to perfection, and that's just all you really can say about the game.
And I guarantee you they'll have a few more games like that, because teams are going to look and see what he did to our offense, and then teams with better offenses than Duke will try to win the game. Mm-hmm. So.
But if our defense gets stops and we can score, because there was a couple empty possessions that we had, and the fumble at the 5-yard line or around the 5-yard line by Brandon was a big turnover, because if we get up by 17 or 20 points, you can't do that unless you're giving up.
Yep.
You're going to have to pass the ball and then give our rushers and our ends time to get back there and make some sacks, because I think maybe we only had 1 sack or 2, and that was near the end of the game when they had to pass if they were going to try to win, because we were up by 10. So.
And Jair's punt return was called back.
By penalty. We had fewer penalties, but we still had some critical ones.
Yeah.
And the turnover was fewer turnovers, but it was a bad turnover.
Yeah.
But like I said, Lamar had another good game.
Oh, yeah.
Jeremy Smith, who obviously got put in there because B-Rad fumbled, and Coach doesn't like fumbling, his running backs to put the ball on the ground. So,
Brandon Radcliffe's a great kid, but I honestly, in Bobby's offense, he may never touch the field again this year. He
doesn't like it.
No.
And Jeremy had 4 rushes for 97 yards, and he broke that 80-yarder. I heard that Coach said in his Monday afternoon press conference that he breaks one almost every single practice.
Wow.
Almost every single practice.
Wow.
So, and he's a big cat, and he can catch the ball in the backfield. He's a good blocker. So, and then who else really came on was Drew Bailey.
Oh yeah, Drew Bailey. 11 tackles, 7 solos. I mean, the kid, junior college guy, he's doing his thing. Awesome kid.
I think these guys are starting to understand the defense now, and starting to understand what plays they're calling, and now they're starting to get more comfortable and they're playing faster.
Oh, yeah.
So that was pretty apparent there. I mean, Duke only had 239 yards of offense the entire game, so our defense is still playing great. It was just a low-scoring game, and it was a slugfest because they kept the ball. They possessed the ball almost 2-1. I think it was 38 minutes to 22. Yeah. So, kudos to David Cutcliffe and Duke. They hung in there. It won't happen Saturday. I don't think it'll be a different game Saturday. Yeah. But my player of the game, I'm going to go with Jeremy Smith. Even though he's been playing every single game, 4 rushes for 97 yards and the 80-yard touchdown run, which was a big one. So I'm going to go with Jeremy Smith. Who'd you like?
Well, that's awesome. I think, there are a couple players. Drew Bailey, he gets the honorable mention, but I have to go with Lamar. Lamar showed some leadership. He was off. He had some horrible passes.
Early especially.
And we got to get something's got to change there. I don't know if Bobby's still scripting the plays or whatever, but he's got to throw the ball better.
But he was throwing off his back foot because we were talking about. So why is he not setting his feet to throw the ball? So I don't know. They'll fix it.
And I'm sure Bobby Senior, Bobby Junior, they're all working on his mechanics. But Lamar, he's my player of the game. He, when it counted, he stepped up and he's our leader. So. Mm-hmm.
So let's skip on to some games around the country, and there's a few good games. The best game is Texas A&M and Alabama.
Yeah.
Alabama's favored by 18.5. I was watching College Football Live today, and half of them seem to think that Texas A&M is going to make this a game. The other half are thinking that Alabama's too dominant on both sides of the ball, and they won't make it a game.
Where are they playing at?
They're playing in Alabama at Bryant-Denny Stadium. Right. I'm going to go with Alabama. I'm going to pick Alabama to cover.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go with Texas A&M.
Okay.
Texas A&M, they've been improving. They got something to prove, So they're an up and coming team. They're knocking teams off, and I think they got the chemistry. They're playing for a coach that is, was on a hot seat.
He was, right.
But he won't be on the hot seat anymore this year.
No.
Unless they just have a total failure.
Selfishly, I want Alabama to win too because Texas A&M is ranked number 6, right above us. So I think they're history.
Well, I'm still gonna pick A&M.
All right, Ohio State at Penn State. Ohio State's getting 18.5 points. I think it's too many points. Most of these games are fairly close. Wow. I'm gonna take Penn State in the points.
Wow.
I don't know if they're gonna win, but I'm gonna take Penn State.
Wow. Ohio State will beat them by 30.
I'll write that down. Ohio State by 30.
By 30.
AC. I got it written down.
All right.
Utah at UCLA. UCLA's favored by 6. I like Utah. Utah plays hard defense. They really hit you. So I'm going to go with Utah. I think Utah's going to win straight up. I don't think they need 6 points.
The game's at UCLA?
It's at UCLA.
All right. Utah brings it no matter what. Good offense, good defense. Mm-hmm. They got a lot of those island kids over there that are knocking people's blocks off. So I'm going with Utah.
And then Ole Miss at LSU. So the fight knows Ed Orgeron. He's trying to get that head coaching job at LSU, which I don't think is going to happen. Ole Miss let me down last week against Arkansas. I think Arkansas. Oh man. But I'm gonna take Ole Miss in the points. I don't think Ole Miss is gonna win, but I think LSU may win, but it may be 1 or 2 points. So I'll take Ole Miss in the points. But I don't know if they're gonna win the game.
Well, LSU's got something to prove. They'll beat Ole Miss by what? I'd say 14 at home.
Oh, okay. I got that written down too for you folks at home that aren't keeping score. I will. All right, so we'll switch gears. Let's go on to the Saturday's game. Louisville plays NC State. So we watched the game last week. NC State should have beat Clemson. Very disappointing. It's kind of a gut punch to Louisville fans because they drive it all the way down. I don't know, what was it, 26-yard, 28-yard field goal. Yeah. And I was watching with my daughter and my wife, and I said, you know what? What's his name calls a timeout. Dabo calls a timeout, and he goes ahead and kicks the ball as a practice kick.
Oh, yeah.
95% of the time, it seems like when they do a practice kick, they miss the next one, which I said. He steps up and blows it. Barely missed it, but he pushed it right.
Yeah.
Overtime history.
Yeah.
Clemson wins.
The play before that, though, they dropped back to pass, that was a horrible call. I'm no offensive coordinator, but to me, as an average fan, that was a horrible call.
Yeah.
You know.
So anyway, so we saw what they did at Clemson. We played at Clemson also. It was also a tight game there. I think this one could be another tight game for Louisville. Although NC State is not going to slow the ball down and try to control the ball like Duke did. Yeah. Their offense, Dave Doran, they throw it around and they run it. They got a good running back, Deas, I think is his name.
They got some heck of a receivers too.
They do. So I don't think they're going to look to slow the game down. I think you will see Devontae Fields and those guys on defense get more sacks and disrupt their offense and get in the backfield on them. So I think it's going to be a higher scoring game. But I've got it 34-24. I know that's probably a little closer than some people think. We will score more points. I don't know if they're going to score that many points. I'm going to change it 34-17. I'm going to make 34-17. Wow. I think we'll double them up 34-17. What do you think?
Wow, that's a pretty good score. The point spread is 20. So
yeah,
watching them play last week at Clemson, which everybody kind of ups it when they're on the road like that, especially in that environment. I don't know how much of a letdown that game will be for them. They can either step up and play. If they play the same way, it'll be a tight game. If they have any letdown, we will beat them by 20. So I'm gonna go 42-24. Okay. That's gonna be my score.
All right, 42-24, 34-17. So, we'll see what happens Saturday. We'll be out there. There's supposed to be nice weather, fall weather. It'll be about high 55 or 60, but it's still gonna be sunny. So.
Oh yeah. Yep.
We look forward to getting out there, and that's a wrap for this week's show. I'm JP.
And I'm AC.
This is Cardinal Paradise, and that's how we roll.